Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now June 17th of 2022, and we are just days away from the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale on Disney+. A lot of Star Wars fans are a little on edge about exactly how the Kenobi TV series is going to end, and exactly where it's all going to go by Disney and Lucasfilm, and how we have, of course, Deborah Chow and Joby Harold talking a lot about that recently, about what they prepared for the finale, and how everything is set up at the very end of episode 5. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing that a lot of fans have been very, afraid of is exactly how the Kenobi series is going to end. A lot of people are very concerned about whether or not it's going to have a very subpar ending or a very lazy ending, or if it's really going to be done on a grand scale that's going to make fans want more. Now, we already know that, of course, everything related to the Kenobi series, there is a season 2 in the works between Disney and Lucasfilm, but they want to call it, different parts being added on to the already existing limited series. This way they can still call it a quote-unquote limited TV series per se. Now, with that being said, however, what's even all the more exciting has a lot to do with what Lucasfilm has planned currently for the Kenobi TV show, and exactly what they are up to actually improve the quality of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series per se as well. Now, we already know that, of course, Deborah Chow and Joby Harold, they've been talking a lot more and more about some of the key characters in the show, like Leia, Luke, Reva, Bail Organa, and Kenobi and Vader, and exactly where it's all going. Now, with that being said, however, on top of all of this, currently Lucasfilm is already moving forward with a season 2 of the Kenobi show that is going to expand the stories of Darth Vader, Luke, Kenobi, and others. However, lately Disney CEO Bob Chapek has been very aware about the negative feedback from the fans and the backlash from the Star Wars community over these new Star Wars shows. Now, it's described that Lucasfilm already has a big plan in place to fix the Kenobi series in multiple ways that will be done and eventually updated on the Disney Plus platform by this fall, and that Lucasfilm was already getting prepared to make some changes. Given that the series was rushed and moved in, of course, fast to hit the May of 2022 release, Lucasfilm made multiple mistakes, not just with the editing, but also with the cinematography and even the writing. One big change that Lucasfilm is going to fix first has a lot to do with their de-aging of Hayden Christensen. The explanation is that Lucasfilm rushed this entire scene that was actually all done last minute, even after the series was nearly complete, and decided to film a very important scene between both Ewan McGregor and Hayden. This was all shot during the reshoots of the series that took place for a whole week per se, an entire week to do some of those scenes. Now, Lucasfilm is already preparing, of course, and making sure that Hayden will appear less older in some shots during the sparring session, and especially during the Order 66 scenes, and are going to be fixing the de-aging for that. A lot of fans were complaining about that, by the way. Moving on. Another thing that Lucasfilm is going to address with these new fixes are set to involve multiple fixes in the editing of the show. Lucasfilm is preparing to add in some deleted scenes that were meant to be a part of the show in the first place, that were cut out by Kathleen Kennedy, that will eventually update on Disney Plus for the Kenobi series by this fall. Now, these scenes are going to be embedded in each episode to not only make them longer, but to also create a better flow for each episode. I don't know about you guys, but the flow of these episodes, there's a lot of times where it's moving very slow, nothing's really happening, it feels like filler, and then there's other times where it really feels inconsistent when it comes to how the episodes are flowing. What I mean by that is like the pacing per se, right? So that's one problem with some of the episodes in this show. And of course, the editing, I think, is the biggest thing that I had an issue with, especially with episode 4. Now, moving from that, alright, we already know that Lucasfilm is preparing all of this to make this all happen by the fall of this year, and they're going to all update it on the Disney Plus platform. But one thing that I think a lot of fans absolutely need to be aware of is that there were a lot of scenes that were cut out of the Kenobi series. You guys may recall that Kathleen Kennedy talked about this about, 4 or 5 days ago, that they had a lot of scenes that were done between Hayden and Ewan that they had to dial down quite a bit to actually save room for characters out there like Reva and Leia. To me, that's unacceptable. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's completely unacceptable. The show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi for a reason. It's not Leia and Reva. Sorry, but that's just the ultimate truth there. Now, moving forward with all of this, alright, Lucasfilm is very much geared towards fixing key elements of the series, and Lucasfilm is set to add in new scenes of characters like Darth Vader and even additional flashbacks of Anakin and Kenobi that were meant to be used in the show before they were cut. As we talked about a couple of days ago, there were supposed to be Clone Wars era flashbacks, and we're talking about the real Clone Wars, like during an actual battle, where both Anakin and Kenobi are fighting droids and are pinned down and stuck behind a large piece of rubble, and they use their sabers to combat these battle droids. We were supposed to get something like that. They dialed that down. They took it out. That was all because of Kathleen Kennedy once again. Not a big surprise. I think it was all expected to happen, right? So, moving from that as well, Lucasfilm will be adding in an additional twist toward the end of the series that isn't really so much a twist now, but will come off as a deleted scene inserted into the official show. This is described to be as a scene showing how the Grand Inquisitor survived and informed Lord Vader about his attack by the third sister. This scene was deleted and will later be added for the last episode of the series. Lucasfilm will also be using some techniques to make some cheap shots look less low quality driven, and to make many scenes look more cinematic. This is all set to be updated by the very end of the year before the holiday season for the entire fandom. And let me just say one thing about the Kenobi series, is that they did change the ending, and it is true that they changed the fate of Reva, alright? She was supposed to die by the hands of Vader, as we all saw in episode 5. He left her for dead, alright? He pierced her shoulder or her chest, whatever it was, and she survived. I have a problem with that. I don't know about you guys, but I have a problem with that. I think it's bad writing, to say the least. Vader would never ever let somebody live that knows his identity as Anakin Skywalker. I mean, it just comes off as ridiculous to me. Vader literally reveals to Reva that he sensed that she was a Padawan all this time, that he was shocked that she did not see it, that she did not sense that he knew the entire time. So it's not just the fact that he left her for dead and that she knows his identity, and giving her the chance to spread that information makes no sense to me, but the other thing is, why would Vader, knowing that she is a Padawan, or was a Padawan, secretly hunting him within the Empire, why would he let her get that rank of third sister? Why would he even allow that from the beginning? Who knows, maybe it was a way to actually watch and see if that could lead him to Kenobi or to other Jedi, who knows, but it's just very lazy writing at times. I mean, those are two prime examples, at least to me. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that overall outlook on the Kenobi series, episode 5, but I feel like that letting her live was a big mistake. But it is good to know that Lucasfilm is going to make some key changes to the series. They are going to be expanding it with new parts, not necessarily a season 2 per se, but they will be adding on to the limited TV series, if that makes sense. So overall, guys, let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.